Okay, good afternoon, folks. Hope everyone is okay and well. Armanask, good morning to you, my friend. So we've had a reasonable amount of volume. I've got a little bit of discrepancy here. I'm not quite sure why. I've got both my 2000 tick charts, but overnight highs is showing there at around about 69. Overnight highs on my second chart is showing at 69, 77, 50. So there's 7 points of difference there, which is a bit odd. Not quite sure why, which is a bit strange. We'll see. Richard, how you doing, my friend? Taxter, how you doing, buddy? So I'm just not sure about that. I think it's pulled back a bit much, that really, to be a pullback. We have got sellers up here, so I thought we may get a pullback and a push up, testing yesterday's highs. Yeah, I have reloaded mine. Let's reload it again. The second one, obviously there's a tick difference of about 500, which I suppose can make the difference. Say there's still different. Not quite sure why. Oh well, not the best of both worlds, I suppose. So I've got that as a channel. Whether it is or not, it's kind of working up in that level, but that pullback is a little bit too steep to be valid, I think. Yeah, we've come back a bit too far. I was hoping when we went a bit sideways there, we may bounce off that 50 level, but it probably isn't really. So let me just extend this. We may, in fact, let's just get rid of that. I don't think it's valid. So let me move some of these. Let me get two legs up here. Let me have a look. So 65 and 60, we got sellers. There's 60. 65's too high, I think, for a pullback. We've barely got anywhere and we're already coming down. We'll see if we get another leg up. We may get something here. Let's just get an order ready just in case.
Order submitted.
Okay, hold on a second. I haven't
Order cancelled.
toggled on my... I don't like the fact that it did that.
Order submitted.
Yellow for a few seconds. Let's just move it around. Okay. This is coming down, isn't it? It is frustrating that it doesn't quite get there. It's a shame.
Order
that
cancelled.
Quite nice, actually. I didn't have it as neat as I probably could have done. That looks... I mean, you may argue there's a small overshoot there. There possibly is. Thomas Wade hasn't got it as an overshoot. Yeah, it's negligible, I think, isn't it? Good luck today. Yeah, you too, buddy. You too. So I wonder whether this is more of just a range. You know, the odd thing is, when I'm looking at my chart, it's faint yellow, the range I've drawn. When I've looking on OBS that it's producing to you guys, it's a bit brighter. Perhaps it's just that monitor. Let's make this a little bit darker. That's a bit better. So we've got a couple of bounces here. So I think there's possibly more of a range. Yeah, look. So I think this is just a range at the moment. What I will say is, looking at the 10,000 tick chart, there does seem to be a larger channel. Over the last few days, it's shifted a bit. Let's put it back. I think I had it about there. Now, have a look at that. What do you guys think? We started from here, touch here, touch here, touch here. Touch at the top, touch at the bottom, touch here, touch here. That's actually fitting really nice. Now, we've opened overnight and we've got a really strong shift down. So I am wondering whether we have two attempts to push down with the possibility of this going higher. I don't know. You can't deny that, can you? Now, I know from Mac's point of view and Pat's, you never hear Mac talk about previous day's price action. But if you were trading the 15-minute or the hourly chart, or the 4-hourly, you wouldn't be concentrating on one day because you may only get 4 or 5 bars. You'd be looking back over the last week in some cases, maybe a bit longer. So I don't see why you can't have a look at that as a larger chart and see that it is, it is having some kind of effect. You can clearly see, even if you take those lines, the colour off or whatever, the midline, it's clearly visually working up at that angle. Now, we've had a strong, well, I say strong, we've had a bounce off here. You can see we went a bit sideways and then it took off and it's pulling back. So whether we're going to kind of have something like this, now a second leg down there would clearly clear all this previous liquidity, and we've got, where are we today, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, so Monday night's overnight here, and if you kind of draw right, liquidity, it's amazing really how we deal with such small movements, but when you look back a few days, it's amazing. I mean, look at that bounce. That's literally to the tick or two. You can clearly see it's bouncing there, and it amazes me still if you look back. So there is a good chance, I think, that this thing may come down for a second leg and maybe clear some liquidity and hit support, resistance, whatever you want to call it. But in fact, that can come down a bit. That would make it look much better. Let's get this accurate. So that can go up a fraction. That's about right. Yeah, okay. So you can see, can't you? So whether it'll do that or not is another matter. But if you were going to guess based on this that price would react to that line, you'd have been right. And the same here, and here, and there. So I like having the 10,000 ticks. Sometimes it just gives you a broader perspective. Whether it makes a damn bit of difference or not, I don't know. Who knows? I think sometimes it's good to sometimes open your eyes and look around, isn't it? And just see if maybe there is something you may be missing. I think when you're making trading decisions, it's always good to have as much information as you can. In a lot of our trades, we don't have a great deal of time to make decisions. So I think if you've got plenty of information to make your decision, I think it's only going to, I wouldn't overload your brain, but I think, the broader picture. I took it for fun to see when Penguin last made a video. I looked, it was 4 months ago. Try his website link, and the site was down, really. Up to him. It was funny to say that. I actually opened his Discord about 15-20 minutes ago, and the last one was October. So I don't know, mate, to be fair. The last I heard, I spoke to him via a couple of emails, maybe, I don't know, 6 or 8 months ago. And because he videos a lot of his trades, or he did, and he talks, and I said, I don't know why you don't live stream. As far as I'm concerned, he's a really skilled trader, and I said, if you charge people a bit, you get a lot of people watching you. I'd certainly pay to watch it. If someone's got skills, they're on my radar as far as, but he said he didn't want the commitment, which I get. But yeah, the last I heard, he was focusing more on his website. But yeah, that's the last I heard. So this is interesting, isn't it? There's almost a hidden second entry short there. Very tempted to take that. My only slight concern is we've bounced off the bottom. Do I think that'd work? It's a tough one. Another thing I'm a little bit concerned with as well, it's a little bit congested. So I'm not sure what's going on here, whether I've got two schools of thought here. We've had a bit of a bounce and it may slowly go up, but it looks like it's working. But I don't really want to go short into support, and you can clearly see there's a stack of it across there. Would I take that on an evaluation? Absolutely. Because I take riskier trades on evaluations, but something changed. That bar looked a lot better a minute ago, unless it just finished that way the last minute. But so It would have worked, I think. But the bar wasn't good enough anyway, so yeah, it would have worked. That's strange. I'm sure that was a really bearish bar. Perhaps I took my eye off it for the last second. But it's a little bit congested, just a little bit, isn't it? And when we've come close to the bottom, and although I always prefer, if I get into a trade, a long trade, I always prefer it to clear previous liquidity. So there wasn't necessarily a strong indication price was going to take off. But it is a bit congested, so sometimes it's just worth sitting back just a little bit, isn't it? Any of you guys ever saw his other channel on YouTube called Rhythmic Trading? No. Where he tried to discuss his voice. Under. He got called out in the comments. Close the channel. I don't know. From what I've seen, the way he talks about his chart and price, he comes over as a very knowledgeable person. The one thing that comes to mind is he's almost like a palm reader, kind of reads their hands. You know, he seems really good, but I don't know. You hear lots of stories, don't you, in this business? You never know exactly what's true. You know, you hear stories about people making stacks of money. There was a guy who came into this stream when I first started streaming 3 years ago, and to be honest with you, 3 years ago I was absolute crap as a trader. I forget his name now. I remember the little icon. It was a bit of green and purple, but he gave me a right roasting. And he sent me an email once, and it said, you need to listen to someone like me who gets paid 6 figures every month. Now, to earn $100,000 plus a month is a massive feat in itself. And my guess is, if he was really earning that sort of money, why is he here watching me? You know what I mean? But you never know what people tell you. You know, there's truth in it or not. I think you got to take it with a pinch of salt. But I don't know. I think if somebody makes mistakes or does something stupid, there's a way of telling them, isn't there? You know, I figure you're best off trying to help people rather than just give them a routine, because if you give them a right slagging off, I remember sometimes going downstairs and saying to my wife and showing them a comment, and it got in my head, and it really pissed me off and made me feel down. And I'm thinking, why? I've never quite understood with people having a go at other people for no reason. It just doesn't make any sense to me. This, you know, my experience of talking to you guys is 99.9% of everything we discuss, we talk about, is positive stuff. We all know how difficult trading is, and my theory is we help each other. We're all in the same business. There's no competition. You know, it doesn't matter whether I make money. It's not going to, you know, it's not like we're a couple of carpenters working in the same town, is it? And, you know, we're taking business off each other. So I've never quite understood where people run people down for no reason. They seem to get a kick out of it. Some people have got strange minds. Some people love to see people fail. Strange, isn't it? Mind you, having said that, no, yeah, I don't know. Maybe sometimes if you see people fail, it makes you feel a bit less of a failure, doesn't it? If you're having a tough time. In fact, it just comes to mind. I mentioned about Tom Hugard yesterday. I saw him take three. I think it was 3 or 4 losing trades in a row, and it made me feel better. Not because I wanted to see him fail, because it just told me that even professional traders lose trades, and it kind of gave me a little bit of lift. Because, you know, Pats is so much about avoiding talking about, you know, losses. Strange, isn't it? excuse me. So where were we? So we've got a bit of a spike in channel. Looks like a break there. A couple of pushes down. Is there something larger here? Maybe. I'm still thinking about this. The move up like that with 2 legs down. Now we know price loves to suck up liquidity, and we got this leg up yesterday overnight, and we had a couple of bounces here, so there may be traders going long there and trying to see if this thing wants to go up anymore. So the way this is looking, my guess is it's quite likely going to break below there, which should quite possibly give us a measured move for maybe a move up. Who knows? But we do see this type of scenario. The fact this is a 10,000 tick chart's irrelevant. We see a channel up there with a break, don't we? Bum bum. Clear previous liquidity. I can't see it coming down much more. You're bound to get liquidity there. You can clearly see some bounces. The next level, really, you would expect to be down here. That may be the case. Let's have a look on the fib tool. Give us an idea of where it possibly could come to. So I think we said there, didn't we? So yeah, that's a little bit low, I think, maybe the 50%, but after this level here, I can't see a great deal of liquidity left. So if you're bullish on this market, my guess is that is quite likely where you're going to consider buying. You can see how it reacted to that level there. So push down for a second leg, clear liquidity. And I'm guessing, well, this is funny actually. If I look on Bookmap, let me just change this. If I look on Bookmap, this is interesting. It just goes to show if you're thinking along those lines. So where's 35? So 35s are there and 25s are there. Okay, so let's add a bit of colour to this. Now, I just talked about this is where I expect price to come down to. And if we have a quick gander on Bookmap, that area there, we've got all these orders right from 35 to 25, which is boom right there. So it just goes to show this is where I would buy if I was bullish on price, and that makes perfect sense. Clear liquidity, make 2 legs down. You can see it's already had a reaction to that level further back, and then the final nail in the coffin for me is there are a bunch of orders down here. The larger orders, 170 to 290, are at 30, right in the middle. So it kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Now, whether it does it, there's no guarantees, of course, is there? But it's certainly useful to have these bits of information. If you see a strong bull bar that breaks, a bar that breaks below there and a strong bull bar with a higher low, then maybe, depending on how you trade, you may think about going long. From a Pat's point of view, it wouldn't quite be as simple as that, but if we have 2 legs down and a strong green bar followed by a strong higher low, my guess is after 2 legs that is quite likely going to find its way back to that EMA. So in which case, if all the stars align, there may be a possibility of a trade. If there is, could potentially, if you got a run or you hold it, you may find a nice ride back up, certainly to the EMA. That's bearing in mind that's the EMA on the 10,000 tick chart, which is about 50 at the moment, which is here. So if you manage to get in, where is it? Let's say 30 down here, there's a potential for a big move higher, if that's how you see things. So we'll see anyway, see what happens. Let's just draw this down a bit. Now that's odd, that, isn't it? We got a breakout there and it still seems to be working down at the moment. Now, what I will say, is there something larger? I think the answer is quite possibly. If we push down from here, I would say yeah. In fact, a second entry short testing this, I would take. got a touch here. This is the next swing. We've got a touch there, and this is the next swing. Now, that's interesting. Now, I would take a second entry short stroke higher low there. I wouldn't take it as it is, just in case it decides to come up and sting me. But what else I can see is a possible triple test. It may work, but I'm going to wait here because I want a proper second entry. And typical, if you do nothing, the thing just drops like a flaming stone. But everything's pointing to this area. So that's why Bookmap can be so useful. If you see a second entry short here, you may think, well, price is really looking like it's going down here. So all these little bits of information can help your decision-making process. Let's see if we get a... I'm going to get an order open here because
order submitted.
No news of we know. If we can break above there, go on, I dare you. If we can break above that bull bar, oh, go on, I'd love it too. That's a higher low there. Go on, tick above it. Go on, go on, go on. Go on, have a push. That would be lovely as a lower high. You bastard, it's not going to, is it? Go on, get above it. Oh, I hate that when you can see something nice. Go on, you tosser. Excuse my French. Go on. The trouble is, if there's a lot of traders thinking this is going to go down, blah, 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 sometimes they may just decide to get into it. And a lot of the second entries we type of take, a trader's being trapped in the opposite direction. Well, at the moment, I think it's pretty clear where prices are going, so sometimes it just won't come back. That would have been lovely. Push up there. Give us a triple test. Second entry, triple test. Oh, that would have been lovely. Yeah, I know what you're saying, but let's have a look at this again now. 2 legs down. Look what's happened here. We've got a big bullish bar, and it's triggered with a big bearish bar coming down. We're coming into this area now where all these buyers are, which is down here. So I would have to see. What I wanted to see is that higher low there to trigger and immediately reject. Then I would say you're trapping a bull bar there because we got what may look like a bit of sideways stuff with a bull bar there, strong move up and a higher low. We just 2 ticks short, which is a real
order
shame. I was going to use a different word there. But we clearly made a few attempts. You may have argued that as a triple test. I would have just... The fact that it pushed up really strong, I would have waited for the higher low, which I hope we were going to get it. And that's a bummer. Bummer. That would have been really nice there. That could have been a really nice looking setup. So the thing is, if you just, let's have another look. You look at Bookmap, look where all the orders are. South. You can't deny that. That is going to be sucking price down. Not only is Bookmap showing us there are orders down south, the overall look of the market is bearish. So, those bunch of things, my guess is it's going to absolutely get into this area here. There are no guarantees, of course. And another reason to short up here was testing the underside of this. So everything was pointing to this. That's a lot about trading, isn't it? Analysing where price has been, what it's doing, where there are other buyers and sellers in the market, and kind of using your experience to kind of gauge what's happening and where to get in. That is a second entry long.
Order submitted.
A second entry long. If this pushes up and rejects, I still want it to go a bit higher, ideally. We still may get a setup. My only slight concern now is price is doing this a little bit. So I wouldn't be surprised if he has another break here, and that's fine. Let's just get this up out of the way. That'll be 1, 2, 3 triple test. So there are some sellers around the 40. Well, there's sellers all over the place really, but around about here actually. And this is a break, I'd say. That may be, but I'm not necessarily counting here. It's how it looks for me. A little break and a push up new high, and then an immediate rejection. Then that will be a clear triple test. Yeah, Thomas Way's got the exact same chart. So small break. Let's push up. Come on. You just didn't have time to run it. Yeah. Thing is, if you're a successful trader, you're making a decent amount of money. Sometimes I get people that might not have the headache to do it. Obviously, that once you start charging people, there's commitment. You know, and if you don't want that commitment, I mean, part of being a trader is having that freedom, isn't it? And I understand the commitment side of it. If you start charging, you can't. You've got to make the effort there, isn't there? So I don't know. Have we had a small break there? We may have done. It's not good enough for me though. I would want to come up here and trap some longs. I would love to come up here now, tick this and immediately reject. Let's just shut that
Order
down.
cancelled.
I don't know it's going to come back. I think that's triple test enough, is it? I just didn't like it. It's still in that move up. So you never know when it's going to trigger you and push a touch higher. Once it gets below there, it'll get a bit easier, I think. Okay, we're getting right into the zone now. So let's go back to this 10,000 tick chart. It does help having this. You know, I kind of marked that chart where I expected price to go to based on what I was seeing, and look what's happening. It's moving exactly. I put where those buyers were, right in that yellow area. Look where we are, a couple of ticks right off the center. We're going to be hitting some liquidity in a minute. So I think that's the thing about analysis, isn't it? You can analyze what's going on, and the more you've been doing it, the better. You know, the better you are, the more accurate you are. So I would be surprised if it doesn't. I know a lot of these institutions, it's not as simple as just buying, is it? They got to kind of get in with a move and buy. So I'd expect there's bound to be liquidity. There's a little triple test there. There's bound to be liquidity there. So my guess is it's just going to push down below there. That is where that measured move is. So that's what I mean. If you can see what's going on, you can get in on these pullbacks. Unfortunately, even though I'm confident where price is going, it's still not good enough. Trouble is, you got no room for error. It could, you know, my guess is it's coming down, and it's probably going to, but it may trigger you, push up and stop you out for a tick, and then do that. So that's the downside to Pats. Because our stops have got one tick of error, sometimes it's just not enough, is it? Scaling, they're just, yeah, absolutely, yeah. But obviously liquidity, breaking liquidity helps them as well, doesn't it? So that's why my guess is we're going to do this. See how we got this break here? One looks like a second push to a new low. I wouldn't take it anyway personally, but my guess is look how bearish that you can see the sellers pushing that down. So we're literally a few ticks. We're starting to eat some of these. A few ticks, a couple of points maybe. I think so for me, the line in the sand are these areas of liquidity now. That's, you know, I'm not assuming every trader puts their stops one tick beyond the signal bar, but if this thing moves up like this, once it starts to go, I think, you know, you keep your stops tight, wouldn't you? But we're literally a tick away from, we might actually be on them. There we go. So any liquidity now, and it's hit that measured move. So there we go. So we had that little pop down there on the main chart. So we're clearly eating up some orders there. As I say, I'm guessing they may have had it be a little bit lower. But that's what I mean. If you're analysing things correctly and the picture's as clean as this, you can, you know, you predict with relative accuracy on where price is going. And then obviously we want to see what kind of reaction we're getting here. So the last line in the sand for me is, see, it's hit all these targets here. There are some at 20. That's a little bit far down for me, but you never know. So we've had a break of this, 2 pushes down. So let's see what sort of reaction we get here. So, but you know, it did what I expected it to do. So, you know, I'm relatively accurate with that side of it. But if you can predict with, you know, reasonable accuracy, it doesn't half help you make better decisions. As I say here, I'd be, you know, if there was a massive orders here and we got an absolute beautiful strong triple test, on those circumstances, I would hold. If we had a bar like that, pushed up there, ticket above then, instantly dropped and closed below that EMA, there's a possibility of where the middle of the line was 30, so there's a possibility of 8 3/4 points just to the centre, and I would probably be inclined to kind of do that and then kind of that, and I'd have probably got taken out for 11.5 points, which is half a point off the equivalent of 4 winning trades for me. So that's the beauty. If you've got as many orders down here as Bookmap was showing and a beautiful setup, you know, sometimes it gives you the confidence to think this is worth, you know, trying to ride this and make a bit of money out of it. But so I think we can get rid of that. So, you know, I think Sean asked yesterday, does Bookmap really help you or does it make things more confusing? No, if it was an absolute beauty setup, I'd take it without Bookmap, but Bookmap gives me a picture of where other traders in there, and under those circumstances, I would have held. So let me just see if I can sort something out here. I don't know what's going on here. Is this a break and 2 pushes? Is this now moving up after hitting all those orders? So Thomas Wade has got this. Let's have a look. Yeah, he's had a couple of ideas there. It's not easy, is it there? It's one of those... so he's got the same as me from there, and then he's drawn something slightly wider, maybe there with an overshoot. Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? That's the trouble with trading. Sometimes some things are relatively clear, other times not so much. But the way this is moving up now, so from the lows, we're up 10 points already. I wouldn't be shocked. We knew there was a stack of buyers down here, whether this thing goes any higher or not. We'll see. So, I mean, if that is a break, we've had 2 pushes to a new low, which we always kind of like. So, we've got a push up and a big bearish bar there. Now, be interesting to see where this goes. We've still got buyers at 25. which is there. Now it's before the lows. Now that always makes me nervous shorted into buyers. I don't think there's enough room there before you hit buyers. I don't want to short into buyers. So my guess is this may push up for a second leg. Or we may get a lower high, I don't know. I certainly wouldn't take that at the moment because I'm not exactly sure what's going on. So if you took that now, your bottom would be twitching. So same again, another reason not to take that is there's 183 contracts sat there to buy. Do I really want to sell into buyers? It's not ideal. Especially as I don't know what's going on here. My guess is this might have a quick shove up. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here at the moment. There you go. So if you took that, and with it being bearish, now obviously a lot of traders will trade a market that's running down like this, and every time price gets back to the EMA, they'll just kind of put an order in. You know, put a stop up here and a profit down here or something, but we have to do things differently. So, yeah, I'm not sure about what's going on here. It's a bit odd. That doesn't look terrible. What I will say is you can see how it's working along that midline quite nice. Now, do I want to push me luck and move it a bit higher? Now, a lot of those orders have gone. Having said that, there are some there at 25. There are some further down at 20. So it's hard to say what's going on here. But looking in the 10,000 tick chart again, we've had a relatively smooth ride, and now we seem to be a bit stagnant, which would make sense. We've had two legs down. We've bleeded any liquidity that was there. So we knew there were buyers here, but is that enough to force prices to start to move in the opposite direction? Thomas Wade said, I guess I would consider a lower high. So would I? I wouldn't, purely and simply. I wouldn't take a lower high because I can see there are 288 contracts there, and a lower high might cause you to bounce there. So not only that, so let's make this a little bit larger. So at 225, there's 220 contracts. There's a little bit below it as well, and there's some there. So short in here, for me, into buyers is a no-no. Sometimes it doesn't make a difference. It's clearly bearish at the moment. So if enough traders just decide, you know, we're struggling, this is a time to jump in with an aggressive sell order, sometimes these buyers will absorb them. You know, I have a good idea with Bookmap where price is going, but what I can't guarantee is what's going to happen when we get there. I just don't want to go short into buyers. So there is a lower high there, but it's 19 ticks. Is Thomas Wade going to take that? My guess is he'll take it on a limit order. How far is there's 2.5 points to the 2 3/4 points to the lows. There's 2.5 points to the lows. I know it's the worst trade in the world, but there's something about it I don't like. Do you know what? On this second chart, it looks kind of like a triple test, doesn't it? Trouble is, we could do this. Up, across, and up. So, just for the moment, I'm just going to have to... Thomas Wade just said, if it triggers, I'll risk it. It hasn't triggered. I'm not surprised. I think this is going to push up a little bit further personally. And there's not enough room for me till I start hitting buyers. It's just too risky. So I'm glad for Thomas that it didn't trigger, because if it would have triggered, he'd have taken that. Now, maybe it would have made a difference. Someone said it triggered on mine, so someone got into it and lost. Yeah, someone said it's kind of steep. I agree with that. It's pushed quite... Yeah, I don't like it. There may be a little overshoot. That would possibly be a triple test. There are sellers at 35, which is there. Is that a bad trade? I'm not sure at the moment. It's a little bit sideways. We've pushed up and across. And that quite often will lead to this. And there are sellers here. That would kind of make sense. So there may be an overshoot. I'm not fully convinced I know what's going on in this channel down. So my guess is I think we'll have a little shove up. There's 123 contracts out there, and then there's orders at 25. So if we had a push up and an immediate drop, my guess is it then would probably flush down. It may do it from here. Oh, and there we go. So I didn't like this. It didn't trigger above there anyway. But there we go. I was expecting that, but not until up here. It's just a shame we didn't see something just a little. If we'd have pushed out above there and give us a bearish, I'd have had a go at that. There we go. So this level here now, with liquidity, we've pushed below this. Now it'd be interesting to say, my guess is we'll likely come up and retest some of this. See, that's the frustrating. Someone's taken that. The trouble is, look at that bar there. It hasn't triggered above there. So you can't really take that from a Pat's point of view. The fact that it worked is a little bit irrelevant. If it pushed up a bit higher, then that's a different story. But it was quite weak, which is why I'm surprised it dropped from there. I thought it was going to push up a little bit higher. It's not a very strong entry, is it, on either chart, really? Even on my second chart, that doesn't look too bad. But the trouble is, you've already had a large move down. What's left? 2.25 points. You'd expect a little shove when it broke there. For me, it would have to push up a little bit. But that's the thing, really. It's easy when something happened. You can see it worked, but it doesn't necessarily mean that that's an entry you can take in the future if it looks the same, because a lot of the times it may not. But there we go. Wow, this thing just does not want to stop, does it? So right from that bar there, we're already down basically 20 points. Yeah, we are down 20 points. It's unreal, isn't it? God, if you can just get a move like that once a week or even once a month. So I think we can all agree that there's an overshoot there. depending on how you look at it. If it's more like this, there's clearly an overshoot. So have we broke? We're not far off from, is that yesterday's lows, is it? Yeah, mind you, I would have suggested that this area would play some kind of a part. We've just pushed through it. What I'm going to do is do that. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? If you take it there, you can see we push up, reject, twice there, and we've just launched straight through it there. You can see there, we've pushed above it and bounced 1, 2, 3, 4 times and took off. You can see it there. There's 3 bars which bounced off that line. So it's amazing how these things play a part, but this thing is just, it doesn't seem to make a damn bit of difference there. It just sliced straight through it, had an attempt to push up back towards it. Matt will mark that as a trade. The trouble is really, for me, there's a possible overshoot here. So we've got a push up and a couple of feeble attempts to go lower. There's still a bit of a wick on there. Although it's more bearish, it's not far off neutral. EMA is a little bit flat, and we see this picture all the time. We go up, across and up. Clear out any liquidity there. Bears jump in again there. You get stopped out here. Bears jump in and woof, down we go. Unfortunately, it never quite got high enough. I knew there was sellers there. That would have been absolutely perfect. And I'd have jumped all over that. But unfortunately, that's the trouble with Pat. Sometimes it's a matter of a few ticks away. Or you miss out on a trade. But that's the business we're in, aren't we? I often wonder if there's easier strategies out there than Pat's, but I think I've come to the conclusion over time there's not such thing as an easy strategy. You know, you may have setups. I mean, setups from a Pat's point of view, they're relatively straightforward. We don't use dozens of indicators. It's pretty straightforward. But you know, like any good strategy, you need a good understanding of the context to make that right, that right decision. But that is a fair old move down, isn't it? So I'm guessing the next area you'd expect it to break would be here. Will it go down that far? I'll be surprised if this continues down much beyond there without having a they call them a V-shaped kind of retracement. I can't see that going all the way down there and not taking that level out. I would be shocked. But if sellers are expecting this to go down, are you going to start taking profits when it hits it, or you're not going to risk it and take them a bit earlier? We'll see. I mean, that's a fair old move, isn't it? When was this? 11 minutes past. So in 9 minutes, in fact, less than that, about 8.5 minutes, we've come down basically 36 points, almost vertically. God, if you can just get in there, yeah. Oh, do you know what? I often think about maybe as if I sit in a dark room and say, okay, I'm willing to sell my soul to the devil to give me a chart for tomorrow's markets. Is there a possibility that it may work? It's amazing the weird things that go through your brain when you really want something bad enough. We've all seen these films, haven't we? I sold my soul to the devil. I don't know if anyone remembers the film Crossroads. Ralph Macchio. It's quite an old film now. I think it was probably the early 90s. He sold his soul to the devil to be a great guitarist. Technically true. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the practice of trading is to see an entry and take a trade, put your stop, put your order in, and you're done. Applying it to the correct context and doing it consistently is a million miles away. But the practice of trading, yeah, it's it's straightforward, isn't it? So we've slashed through there, no issues whatsoever. I can't see this thing going down much further before buyers start to jump in this and the things pop. Disco, how you doing, bud? We're down 40 points already. And the rest, 46 points. This has got to reverse quickly, isn't it? Famous last words. So I can see 450 contracts for sale there. 90. 450 contracts. So there are traders. Now, whether they've stuck their orders there because they want price to push up and they're going to yank them about here is always a possibility. But if there are sellers here, then, you know, are they thinking that, who knows, are they thinking that price may continue down? Excuse me a sec. Oh, women. Look at this thing. My God, it doesn't want to stop. It's got to be down 70 points easily, innit? Oh, no, maybe not. 57 points straight down. Oh, my good golly gosh. This thing is going to absolutely take off in the other direction in a minute. Don't just jump in long all of a sudden. As I've said that, that's purely speculation. Sometimes when you think this thing can't go any further, it comes down another 15 points and traps you. But it's come down that steep. Without news, I can't see that at least having a fair pullback. What's caused this? Any particular reason, maybe? Is anything happening over in the Middle East? They have got final talks today, haven't they, or something or other? Have they gone south or what? I don't know. Oh, you muppet. Is there another... Let's just make this a little larger. So there does seem to be some kind of other channel now. I certainly don't think I'll be thinking about going short here just at the moment. Not after such a big move down, because this thing could absolutely take off. Is there any news coming out? I mean, look at this on the 10,000 tick chart. Look at that. So over the last 2 days, we slowly did this, and we've taken back about 2/3 of it at least in the matter of, well, no time whatsoever. That's quite negative, that is. Is there anything happening in the news that may have caused some slight negativity? I'll get the words out. Okay, Iran, US and Iran. Oh, okay. No. Today, France is 0. Devastating war in Iran in 5 minutes. It's going back too far, 1 hour. Okay, high stakes US Iran nuclear talks underway in Geneva. That should be probably done by now, I'm guessing. Maybe not. Well, it's hard to say, isn't it? I mean, we know, I think it's these final talks about a possible deal going on today. So I don't know, maybe that's shifted a bit of negativity. If we have bad news, is some kind of attack going to happen quick? Who knows? But I mean, that was, you know, relatively normal kind of move. This thing was obviously a little bit steeper. So, is this a bottoming pattern? Not necessarily. There is a second entry short there, possibly. What's Bookmap telling us? I know there are orders at 900. There are orders at 875, which is there below this. After such a big move, it makes me nervous about getting into a short. So, second entry short failure. Does that mean this thing's going to take off? I wouldn't be surprised. There's a 30-tick bar there. So, we got a channel with a break and a new low. We got a channel with a break. We're a tick off a new low. We've had 2 legs back. Second entry short. Took into a failure. Would I want a short here? I don't think it's wise to. This thing may shoot off. We know how quick this thing came down. Okay, there's a bear bar here, 2 legs up. If this thing is going to come down, it's going to do it from there, in my opinion. And it doesn't look like it's going to. So, my guess is this thing might push up now. I'm not taking a trade at the moment, so I am. I'm just going to take a quick 3 to 5 minute break. I'll leave this with you. I'm just going to make a quick cup of coffee. And I'll be back. Okay. Well, I thought that thing was going to take off. So we're down, 3.5 points shy of 100 points. I mean, literally everything we made yesterday got taken out super quick. So yesterday's highs clearly removed, and some. Are we going to bounce here and this is going to push up? It's hard to say, really. Trouble is, after such a big move, I think it's only natural to think it's more likely going to go up, but it's not always the case. I mean, you know, there's usually reasons, isn't there, why things happen. Is this bottom? It's hard to say. I'm not so sure at the moment. So I quick look on the daily. Okay, so this is the daily. I'll tell you something, we certainly could come down a lot more, couldn't we? We could clear there, here or here. Let's have a look. We certainly could. I mean, this is super choppy, isn't it? See, for me, trading got hard from late November, beginning of December, which is here. And it's been chop, 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 chop. Now, ordinarily, we spoke about this yesterday. We're going back October, right back at kind of May, June, July. It's working nice. And I suppose it stands to reason that if this is moving nice, things will go okay. Now, as a rule, when we have a lot of chop, we stay out of it, don't we? Even on the 2000 tick chart. But what, you know, things are fractal, aren't they? So even though smaller movements are doing it, larger movements are doing it, the smaller stuff's doing it in between. So that might be why. So I wouldn't be shocked if this thing takes an absolute tumble. Let's just take it to where that was yesterday, previous day. Where are we now? I mean, we could come down another 50 points and some. Or even down to here. You just never know. We're struggling at the moment to get up. What with all this stuff looming with Iran, is it? Do you really want to buy into all-time highs are up here? Do you really want to get into the market here? If this thing kicks off in a run, I expect this thing to have a big dump. You know, and when we have these big drops, that's when buyers come back in. You know, a lot of people panic in this and price goes down, but when it does drop. That's when usually the smart investors jump back in and buy, because when it does it all-time highs, you're capturing that move. So I wouldn't be shocked if this thing does come back down. We know price tends to remove to liquidity. We've got 50 points to that bar, so we may be in for I say a rough ride. Ordinarily, if the thing's trending strong, you know, there may be a possible way in, but sometimes these trending days can be harder than, you know, these kind of rangy type days. That I'm not too sure if I like that. I don't think so. Let's just put it like that for now and leave it there. So let's focus on this. So I think it's pretty fair to say just at the moment we are kind of doing a little bit of this, aren't we? See, I'll be inclined to do that and expect to break out here. It's hard to say, really. Let's just put that there when we got the most touches for now. I say down here we've got 2 touches here. So we'll see. But yeah, we certainly could continue down quite a lot. I don't think I'd like to trade either way. You never know whether things eventually going to take off or whether we're going to come down again. But I think at the moment, it's fair to say prices is generally bullish at the moment. So we've cleared any liquidity here. We've got kind of a couple of moves up. Maybe there's some there. The trouble is, with these types of trade, channel break new high, you never know whether this thing's going to come tumbling down or whether it's going to trigger you and push up a bit higher. So at the moment, as Thomas Wades calls it, it's an area of development. It's hard to say whether we're going to come down for another big move, which we know we could. What do we say this was? About 50 odd points, wasn't it? Yeah. We just marked on the daily that we could come down for another 50 points. We certainly could. So AE9. So there are sellers just below. There's 4, 5, 6. There's about 750 contracts around about there for sale. That will be above a bit of liquidity here. So let's see what happens if it gets to there. I think we're hitting VWAP as well here, so that obviously makes a difference. Although I don't really use it, I am aware where it is. I think it's VWAP anyway. Yeah, I mean, really, we were just looking at the daily and it was chop, 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 chop. And you can see it, can't you? Chop, 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 chop. So we've broken previous a few days highs there. So maybe this thing is due for a tumble. Who knows? We could get a couple of attempts up and then a big move down. Who knows? I'm sitting tight at the moment. So Thomas Wade has got his like that. I think it's okay to do that now. I usually wait a bit, but it may look a bit better on here. Yeah, that looks clear on that side. It's a bit naff here, isn't it? So, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, there are about 700 for contracts for sale there. Now, there's always the possibility that this thing could continue up. I think this is the area of interest. What it does here, you can see liquidity, and we've got those big sellers. In fact, I'm going to take that up a touch. There are 625 contracts right there for sale. So 10,000 tick chart. So I was expecting it to get down to here, but it broke through there and just kept on going, didn't it? I thought when it was going to go sideways, that's the time, and the thing just absolutely took a dump, didn't it? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. The best part of 60 points straight down. See, the good thing about Bookmap, it gives you an idea of where prices are going to go. It doesn't necessarily tell you what's going to happen when they get there. But I never foresaw that one. I thought we may go a bit sideways and eventually start to work up, but that wasn't the case. So 1, 2, 3, maybe a triple test here. There are a bunch of orders up there. There's not enough room to the highs. When we hit those orders, who knows what's going to happen. So if you go a tick above there, there's 2.25 points-ish. Now, it's probably going to have a little yank through it, but I don't really want to go. I mean, it's a bit sideways, so you never know. It may trigger this, come back a bit more, but I'm just sitting tight here. I don't know whether price is going to hit this and drop, or whether it's going to slice through it, or whether it's going to turn here and come back down for another test of this. The fact that it's triggered that big bull bar for a tick and starts to pull back always concerns me, but it's come back a bit and pushed up and same again, so it may be okay. I certainly wouldn't take a trade there, not a chance. You can see those orders there, 604 contracts. Now, sometimes they will drop those in just to yank price up, but that's getting eaten any second now. If you're going to dump your order, you'd have done it by now. We've just literally bounced below. I'll be amazed if it doesn't hit it. There we go. So we've just sliced through that 604 contracts there. Is this thing, oh, I press stop. You'll see it happen now. Hold on a minute. This is a few seconds behind here. Yeah, it is. I must have paused it, but yeah, it sliced straight through those orders. So I had a fair idea it was going there. What it does now is out of my hands. But we've got a little bit of a reaction. I'll watch that chart. Okay, channel break, new high. So it ate through those orders relatively easy. So there are some there. So is this going to push up? Now it's at this area. I think this is crunch time, isn't it? But so I'm seeing slightly more aggressive sellers, not by a large amount, but now my guess is now this may start to move down. I did wonder whether there was going to be something like this. I'll have to see. That's another thing at the moment. If you look on Bookmap, there's not a huge amount of orders now. A lot of these big orders, there are some down here. There's 500 or 600 contracts within 5 points down here, but that's still a fair amount away. So it's very mixed. 50s, 60s, 80s, the odd 100. So I think a lot of this is going to be more moved by more aggressive sellers here. Now, obviously, this changes minute by minute, but I can't see we could clearly see that was 900. There's a good chance we tried, then obviously we sliced through it. But it's what happens when we get there. Bookmap gives us a good idea where prices go, and you can clearly see they've been there a while, and eventually it got up there. But then it depends what happens when it hits there. That much we don't necessarily know. And especially now the area's gone quite dark. As I say, 905, which I've got that marked, is a little more. But is it enough to drag price up at the moment? I'd say no. So this is kind of maybe a bit of sideways. So if you'd have taken that triple test, it did work. Not that I advocate taking something like that right into support with no room left to the highs. We're at the highs. But with the fact those orders, we had those orders there as well, so going long into them. Now, often when you see it, it's a load of orders. It does have a quick shove through, but I prefer something like a bit more of a tail and it closing here. Then I may have had a go at that. So we've just hit those orders at 05. So channel with a break, 2 pushes to a new high. So if this thing is going to come down again now, or at least make us another attempt at coming down, for me, this is where it would be. Channel break, 2 pushes. We've cleared a bunch of sellers up here. We know there were sellers in there. We know there's sellers in there. So this would be the area to push down from. Now, there's obviously, there's buyers trying to buy down here for a big move up. So, you've got that constant battle. But if this thing is going to come down, my guess is that bar is where it's going to start its move from. Now, if this is going to continue down, I'd expect to move down, and I quite likely expect another attempt. I'll see. As I say, Bookmap's gone very dark at the moment. There's not a huge amount of orders. Slightly brighter one, 123, 109, 127. So it's pretty average. So I wouldn't be shocked if price goes just a little bit sideways or a bit choppy here. Now, obviously, aggressive buyers and sellers can, obviously tip the balance. So this is crunch time. If we can get above here, my guess is it's going to continue on up. And it has done. So now, do we do something like that? That doesn't look terrible. Trouble is, it's not very steep. which for me it's not very strong. Mind you, I wouldn't be shocked if this pushes out the top. In fact, do you know what I'm going to do? Just for the hell of it, I'm going to do that. Just see if I'm in tune with the market, or see whether I'm really full of shit. Because that doesn't seem very steep to me to move up. There's a few odd channels like this. I'm not sure about that. We could arrange for a bit. Yeah, I agree. There's not a huge amount of orders above and below, and when it gets kind of more or less stagnant, often price will just chop around. You can see there's nothing there. You can clearly see the strength in that, and that's what pulled price up. But here at the moment, we've got these kind of light blue areas where there are around about 100 contracts. There's a few down there, and there's some up here as well. So you're right, it may I think that may happen, unless obviously some big orders start. Okay, so we are starting to get some slightly larger orders in now. This is looking like a pattern to me. Orders up here, orders up here, orders up here. They're slowly growing, and I think that's more likely going to slowly pull price up based on what I can see at the moment. That obviously can change. So we'll see. But while everything's more or less even, but same again, we're getting some larger yellow ones here. So, but just how price is drifting up to these levels, I think there's more chance of it going up. But we'll see. It's more of a guideline, isn't it? If it was a magic bullet, we'd all be making millions. But I don't think it's going to yank out the top like I thought there. Maybe further up. But considering how many orders are up here, this isn't going up very strong. So I still think we could get quite a steep move up, I think. Something like that. We'll see. We'll see. But what I will say is there are a fair amount of orders up here. So I'd be okay taking a long here, I think, if the start, let's get that out of the way, it's just in the way a bit. If we get 2 legs down, maybe. So, sellers just above 750, right about there, which is above the highs, which is good. Sellers at 10, which is there. Sellers at 12, sellers at 15. So sellers at 12, they're all slowly pushing. I like the fact that there's small gaps between them. That helps to pull price, I think. So if I saw a nice second entry long here, I think I'd probably have a go at that. And not only that, is there are buyers. There's 100 contracts, a little bit more now at 900, which is there. So ATR is quite high, so we haven't got to go that far, but it does mean a little bit more risk. Okay, so we've got that little drop. I'd like to get below that bar there. A little bit liquidity there. So some of these orders have gone. Is it starting to get a little bit stagnant? It's 14 ticks that. I know it's a terrible trade. I mean, look at that. There's no room left to the eyes, unfortunately. That's massive, isn't it? I think it worked on this side. It was very tempting. Trouble is, it's on this side. It seemed to go up like that, and then all of a sudden seemed to go more sideways. And we were just talking about possibly ranging for a bit, but is it going to go up enough? It clearly worked. I think a few people may have even taken it. Clearly worked quite comfortably. So didn't get nothing on here. I wouldn't have taken that. There's just nothing there. So it did work there, little second entry. I don't know. It's just, it's starting to look a little bit sideways there, and that's what's worrying me. Mind you, it's on the right side of sideways. It's likely going to go up to the top, isn't it? How far was there to the highs? So I'd have to get to there, which is one tick above there, which, okay. So it's one of those things you've got to make a decision. There was just a few things that were concerning me just a little bit. Now, is this going to go up? Oh, yeah. Clearly worked. Went up 5.5 points. Trouble is, this is the feeling I had here. Starting to not quite get to the top. So is this losing a little bit of momentum? If this thing's going to continue up, well, I'd like to maybe see a break and then we get something else. I don't know. Now, that line there that I marked there, 10, look, same again. In fact, on the way down, I marked that, didn't I? Because we had buyers there and it sliced through them. So it's amazing how these levels, you know, when I first started to learn to trade currency, this is the first thing we did in the morning. We put a line chart on. There's a line chart there. And we marked levels over the last few days, 3, 4, 5 days. And then when we went back to this, if we broke above a level and retested it, then there's a good chance it would go to the next level. So the whole thing's tied in, really, isn't it? It all, you know, even trading pats, you can still identify where price is likely to struggle through or, you know, or pass. So I think there's still a good chance this comes up to 10. As I say, my only slight concern is this. And whenever we get this, sometimes we'll have a break. In fact, a lot of the time. Now, is that close enough to the top? It may be. So it may not make a difference. So with what I'm seeing there, my gut feeling is we're going to break. And I'm going to stick my neck out and say, I think we're going to break into this area here. In fact, let's put it right in the middle of that green bar. That's where I think price is going to come into. Because we're losing a bit of momentum here. Whether the whole move up is just not strong enough. But there are orders up here, but we're going sideways with a slight upward bias. And whenever we do that, quite often price has a quick slice down, clear liquidity. And then all of a sudden you get a 20-tick bullish bar. Who knew? So let's see what happens when it gets this area. The break might still come. 1, 2, 3, little triple test there. You can clearly see there's some resistance there. The resistance a little bit higher, but I suppose you can clearly see where people may be taking profits. Clearly finding some support there, so going long into support has its own inherent risks. If we get below there, there's a little double bottom there. I'd say there's going to be quite a reasonable amount of stops right there. And if it does get below there, it may get below there. You can clearly see it's struggling a bit here. We're at the top, we're at the top, we're at the top. Now we're struggling a little bit, which is usually a lack of momentum. It's clearly going sideways. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing had a quick dump, cleared a bit of liquidity, and then buyers may think about getting back in. They had a quick go there. Some aggressive sellers jumped in there. It didn't quite hit that level. If it hit that level, it's game over. And then all of a sudden we got buyers in. So there does seem to be buyers trying to hold on to this level. So, I mean, it literally stopped a couple of ticks off this. I think it's a losing battle, personally. I still think it's going to come below there. There's going to be a shit ton of stops below there. There's bound to be, mind you, possibly up here as well. We've pushed up and ticked above some of there, but then it just instantly... I'll be surprised if price doesn't launch down below this line here. But there is still quite a few orders slowly pulling price up. I just can't see many buyers deciding to get here at the moment. If I wanted to buy, I wouldn't be buying here, not a chance. I'd want it to flush down first. And there we go. So we've had that flush down. So I wasn't far off with the line, just 1, 2, 3. Is that a triple test? Would I want to go long there? Orders at 900. Is that a bad trade to take long? We have cleared liquidity, haven't we? We haven't got quite as low as I wanted to. Could argue it's a fail breakout. I'd have preferred to get just a little bit lower. It's just, I don't like that. It's just not quite strong enough. For a break, I'd expect just a little bit more. So we've ticked above it. Let's see what happens now. If that just a little bit stronger, I'd have had a go at that. It looked naff on the second bar, put it that way. So we are in the seller zone up here. So if we can get another move down here, come on, don't go up. If we can get another move down here into this area, that wouldn't look so bad. That, I think, is a little bit weak. We're still, I put that line there 5 minutes ago and we still haven't got above it. Now, we may in a minute, because I can clearly see there are sellers up there. So that is probably dragging price up. But based on resistance there, is there going to be enough buyers to push price up? Because every time it hits this level, it's pulling back. If it gets above that bar there, my guess is it'll be a bit easier, but I wouldn't want to go long into that, certainly not up here. Such a tiny break as well. Oh, I think it will. There we go. So there are sellers. They're not a huge amount. So even though we've broken above it, I'm still not certain we do this because we're going nowhere at the moment. Is this an area to buy? Mind you, if you trade the 15 minutes chart, it's probably look completely different. Let's have a look. So, oh, Christ almighty. If you were trading the 15-minute chart, would you buy it? I don't know. Maybe you would. Depends how you trade. Look at that. That's not a normal move, is it? Why has it done that, I wonder? That does look like kind of a news event type of scenario, doesn't it? How far is this thing going to get before it comes down? Who knows? No wonder it's struggling. Let's try something a little smaller. 5-minute chart. Doesn't look a great deal better, does it? Would you want to trade this long? It's a bit weak, isn't it? Let's have a look at the 2-minute. Same again. It's just really choppy. My guess is I'd like to see quite a shove down. Look at the 1 hour. It's pretty clear why price rejected. Well, in all fairness, when I said news, I think it was just more conversation. I looked at the daily earlier and look at it. I think price was down here when I discussed it could quite likely come down because you're going to have, look at this bit of congestion here. There's bound to be liquidity below these areas, isn't there? And the way it's chopping up and down at the moment. So I'm not surprised in the slightest. So yeah, when I said news based, I was just more sort of conversational type of a scenario. But I mean, look, we had a big move down there like that. We had a rocket move up. So on the daily, price is coming from the highs to the lows. So as we pushed up here, I wouldn't be surprised if I had to guess up here where price was going to go. It would have probably been south, certainly maybe to these areas. We'll see anyway. But we're bound to get a bit of a pullback, aren't we? But look at this. There's a kind of a nice higher low there, but even so, I wouldn't be going long into support. Now, although we've broken above it there, we just haven't gone anywhere. So, where's my 2000 tick chart? Now we've had a bit of a shove up. So we've had now a little break, 2 pushes to a new high. This just doesn't look strong enough to continue on higher to me. Now, could this just be a pullback? That I'd say, yeah, but then it's gone into a range, isn't it? So I'm not sure. I'm not super convinced. So eyes of the day, where we pull back to. So we could go a little bit higher, couldn't we, before it potentially goes down? Whether it will or not, I don't know. But we're clearly finding it a little bit tricky here. So that's interesting. On this chart, there's a second entry short possible failure. I wouldn't want to go long here, not after we've struggled so hard to get up. So this is a no trading area for me at the moment. It's just choppy as shit. Could do anything. Not only that, we've already had a break, 2 pushes to a new high, so you've got to give this a bit of space. There is a failure there, but I wouldn't take that type of failure. It's a way off support. It's floating in the middle of bloody nowhere. So I won't be surprised if this comes down, ticks below that green bar there. There's definitely a battle going on here, isn't there? So 15, where was that? Okay, that's gone. 15, we got 160 contracts there. There's some at 20. So now this has got above this, it seems to be flowing a little bit easier. So is this just part of that big recovery? We're taking about 2/3 of it back. So let me just see if I can readjust this. That might not be too bad. Trouble is, when you see a bar like that, it's hard to know what to do. If this thing touches the top and bounces twice here, Mac could mark that. But it's easy to know where trades you could have got in if you realise what price did. But when you don't know what's above this bar, makes things a bit tougher. That's what I was kind of looking for, a break out of this. I just didn't like the way it pushed up and wicked below the EMA. That makes it that little bit more riskier for me. But if I'd have seen touch, and another couple of touches here, I'd have jumped all over it with. But we clearly had some resistance to get through there, and we broke above it. We tried to pull back, but then it continued on up. So nothing for me today, bud. Nothing. There's nothing I can see. There's no way into this. Then we chop around, and then we're up. As I say, if that had dropped a little bit lower and finished bullish around about there, then I'd have had a go at that. I just didn't like that wick. I like the fact that we cleared previous liquidity. That's always a positive thing. But the trouble is, when we're really struggling so many times, you don't know whether it's going to push down. That's a weak bull bar, triggers you in, and then has a bit of a drop. So trouble is, you've got to try and make the best decision with what you've got. And at the moment, it's not easy. There's no way in here, really. Where did the market open? Kind of about here. This is just chop. I was looking for maybe a triple test there. It didn't close above there for me. And it didn't give us a second entry short. And there's nothing down here and then we're sideways. Are we going down or are we turning? So what can you do? So I live in hope. How long? I've got another hour and a half left anyway, so plenty of time. How's everybody else done today? Okay, I'm just looking at 2CTV. Islamic Republic reject Trump's demands. Iran war nears. Let's see how.
But I see some people had a tough time.
Is the volume on or off? I don't know. Can't tell.
Trading today, so.
It does sound like that was a last ditch attempt.
All right, I'm going to try to record. I'm sorry to bring down the vibes.
Nutty not having a good day. Bless him. He's struggling a bit on those take profit trader. Mind you, I've never had luck with take profit trader, to be honest with you. Is Alpine not trading today? There he is.
Maybe.
He's not doing too bad. Gotta say, I'm waiting a while for my payment from Apex. It's only a small one, but I put it in for it on the 21st, I think. Where are we today? It's been 5 days. I believe they are switching over to super quick payments. I suppose the thing is, as a prop firm, you've got to kind of keep up with things and constantly modernise and that to keep up with your competition. So I think it's all being manually at the moment, but I think they're very close to having everything done or automated. The beauty thing about having these kind of what do they call them? Marks on your record, violations, is that's probably going to take up a chunk of the decisions. If you haven't made an evaluation, if you haven't made a, what's the word again? When you get those words, you can't keep forgetting. Who's your favourite trading streamer to watch? I like Nutty, I do. He's got a good personality. I like him. Alpine can be a little bit arrogant, I think, sometimes, but there you go. But yeah, I like Nutty, I do. He's a funny guy, isn't he? And he's just nice and friendly, and I like that. But the one who seems to get massive amounts is Tanya. Tanya trades. She gets 20,000 views a day. She does. Mind you, if I had long blonde hair and boobs, maybe I'd get a few more views. But no, I like Nutty. I think he's my favourite. He's just a nice bloke. But he's had a tough day today, isn't he? Perhaps that's it. Perhaps females, but she doesn't stream, but trades by Jess, a little Chinese girl, I think Chinese American girl. She's doing all right at the moment. She's had some good payouts, but I like streamers or YouTubers when they talk about tough times, because I think when you're a newer trader and you're having it tough, it can be a lonely old business. So I like it when I keep meaning to do a few videos myself, just to talk about emotions and how things have helped me, because I think it's good to have those videos around. So when you are struggling a little bit, it's nice to just look at them and watch them. It makes you feel better. And I know she does. And that other girl, what's her name? What's her name? Who's the other girl I watch occasionally? She's brutally honest. I'm always on YouTube. I live on YouTube. I probably spend too much time on YouTube. What's her name? I tell you, he's okay as well. He's a nice Tim Vesh. He's a nice guy. He'll pop on the stream once in a blue moon. Deegan Rehab, her name is. She's worth watching. So yeah, she talks a lot about everything. This stage is brutal. Stop fighting the loss. 3 years in, still not profitable. I think she gives a brutally honest picture of what trading's really like. And I think as a newer trader, it's good to watch these because you don't kind of feel, like you're on your own. So I think she's a good watch. Who else? Who's the other guy I like? What are they called? Let me just move this out of the way so you can see. Just seeing if we get this. Is it the Rumbers or the Rumors? I like him. I think is he with a Russian sounding girl or something? Is it the Rumors or something? Yeah, these I like as well. I like this guy. I think there's a couple. Yeah, I think that's his wife. But he did a video about a month or two ago about something or other. But he's a good watch. Watch those if you want something to watch. I like the way he talks. He's very straightforward and matter of fact. The Rumours, I think they're called. So, possible second entry long gear. How do I feel about that? How do I feel about that? We haven't necessarily. Well, we have made a new low, haven't we? Something about this I'm not really too happy with. There are sellers there. I'm not a massive fan of this. My second chart as well. We've got a bit of an odd doji there. It may work, but it's just something about this I'm not a massive fan of. Let's see if we get a higher low or something. It's typical, isn't it? When you do nothing, the thing flies off. What about Michael Chin and Riley Coleman? We're best buddies, haven't you heard? I took off that. That's annoying. It is a second entry long. Yeah, everyone bloody took it. Goddamn, everyone's but now like a typical, isn't it? Marco took it. Everyone took the damn thing. I don't know. I think my second chart put me off. To be honest with you, I know they have a grievance with Mac. I think they did Mac a big favour because they brought one hell of a lot of traders into the space. I think they were okay. They were pleasant enough guys. I know they got a harder rap, didn't they? And they, nicked I think they nicked a lot of his material, Mac's material. So I understand the problem. But they got me into trading. It was those two that I saw, so they're okay, I think. It's like anything. If you get massive views, I don't blame people for wanting. Exactly, yeah. I don't blame people for, trying to make money out of stuff. It's the way the world works, isn't it? I think what made it a bit more frustrating was they kind of nicked a lot of Mac's material. If you're going to do something, do it yourself and own up to it. But I haven't got a problem with them. Why skip that trade? good question. There was, you see how we got this on the second shot? We got a move down and a little break, and then we got a doji here. That's what put me off. And not only that, can you see here as well? We've got a big bunch of sellers here. So, yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? But yeah, I agree. It is annoying, isn't it? It just wasn't quite right for me. And then you find that every man and his dog took it. Let me have a look. Oh yeah, Thomas Wade took it as well. Bastard, everyone took it. Yeah, we got a channel here with a break and a new low already, haven't we? It is a higher low. There is a possible failure there. Trouble is, I just don't want to go long here. Yeah, that's one of those things, isn't it? You snooze, you lose. It's the left chart and that doji that concern me. You know, sometimes I do wonder about having a second chart, but I think I've took more trades on this chart than the other one. So sometimes I wonder whether to just bin that and drag this over into one. Might be a better idea. What do you do? What do you do? Oh well. I've said this before. How our price reacts to a trade, I think, is a good indication of how solid it was, and it pushed up. It barely took any heat. It pushed up nice and strong. So, let's see what happens here. See, mind you, look, the thing's gone up and it's already trying to pull back. Laufey, how you doing? But I can't get that second chart. How do you mean, mate? You can't get it? All I'm trying to do, see, is get a slight difference between this count. So this count now is 2,000. This is 800. So there's a difference of about 800, and it just gives a slight variation. In most cases, it's positive. On this case, it wasn't so positive. So all I do there is go into this little thing up here that looks like a fist with a square around it, and just deselect break at end of day, and it applies. Sometimes you have to adjust the days to load, because sometimes I can't get a decent gap between them, but we may even get another second entry long here. Now, there is a slight pull away from the top, but it's not massive. So I'm not mega concerned. We had a slight pull away there, but we still bounced off it now after such a big move down. But I won't be taking a trade here. It would have to get down here for me. And if you'd have taken that ILO there, triggered you, stopped you out. So now, is this going to keep going up like that, or are we going to do something like this? Who knows? Sellers at 20, so I still think price may go up. So you can see there's a bit of support and resistance there. So see if we get a break here. We're coming away from the top just a fraction. So maybe we get 1, 2, 3. If we can get down here, we may get a triple test. It's not a huge channel. Down here will be okay, I think. Look at that. Touched that line and took off like a rocket. Do you know what it is? I'm not a fan of taking long setups. If I'd have got something like that coming down, I'd have taken it. It's weird, isn't it? I'm always more comfortable taking shorts than longs. I would say probably 90% of my trades I think are shorts, and that's part of the reason why I decided to get TradeZella, to maybe look into the nuts and bolts of my trading and find out if I'm taking mainly shorts, why am I feeling uncomfortable about seeing trades like that? We've had a micro channel with a break and a new low. There is a higher low, so yeah, it just makes me nervous for some reason that we get a second leg down here. So that might be why. Is it a perfect setup? No. But it's not a bad one either. I'd like to just get down here somewhere. And there are buyers there. Not a huge amount, but there is support and resistance around there. So if we can push down and clear some of this liquidity, clearly finding it a little bit difficult at the moment. See, we're getting this as well. Now, more often than not, when you get this strong move up and we can't get above it, it may have another go, but my guess is we either then move up in a different channel, like this, or we have a break. I don't like that channel, so my guess is we may get a break. So there'll be liquidity there, as we know. So is that going to come and break below there? I think it's a probability. Maybe a little bit of a range going on here as well. So I was just looking if this came bullish, but I'm sitting tight here. This is looking like a bit of a range, so I wouldn't get into a long here. I still think prices are likely to come down, and we bounce once, twice. If we can bounce down here, we may get a triple test. But it would have to come down to this area. Is to run into the same issue. The reasons you may feel more comfortable taking shorts is that usually short trades are quick while long trades. That's a good point, actually. Yeah. 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 It's weird how we all have these little kind of ticks, isn't it? We all find comfortable coming, but yeah. If you look at my trades, I would say 8 out of 10 of my trades are shorts, maybe even a bit more. But yeah, that's the reason why I bought it. I haven't put anything into it yet. I bought TradeZella. I haven't entered it. I'm not sure how to enter anything in for it. I think I've got to start it with a trade. But this will give me a little bit more about the mechanics of how my trading is. Okay, so this is interesting. So now, we have some buyers there. So how would I feel about going long again? So we're clearly struggling a bit there, so I expected the break. But I use Notion. It's free, really. I have got a free copy of TraderSync. They gave me free use of it. I just found it so bloody complicated. So I stopped using it in the end. I made my own. But it's just a pain in the arse. Let me just shove that up a minute. I kind of did my own. Me kind of weekly, and this was me February. But look at these. Short, long, short, 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 short. All shorts apart from there. Let's have a look at January. Long, long, short, long. Oh, more longs in February. Sorry, January. Long, short, 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 long. That's quite even. But yeah, lately. But I don't know. It's just there's things missing from it that I prefer to have. So as I say, you know, these proper ones have kind of the nuts and bolts a little bit. But I thought I'd try it just for a month. I've never really give it a go before. Just have to find a template. Let me take a quick photo of that, and I'll have a look later. As I say, I'm only giving it a go. What's it called? Notion. I'll have a look at that later. But I think, you know, that a lot of people talk about when you're a trader, sometimes if you look into the whys, hows and whens, sometimes you may be able to find, Jesus Christ on a bike. I don't, I've seen that much for a while on Bookmap. There's just under 2,000 contracts for sale. Now that must be a come on. I can't see 1,973 at 17. That must be just a try and tease. Where is it? 17 and a half. 1,971. Someone's dumped that there, I think. Just to try and pull price up, I think. 17 and a half. And that's 20, yeah. Kryptonite and my trading by logging all my trades. Yeah, I think that's the reason why I've purchased this. I'm only going to try it for a month. I think there was someone with a discount code and I saved. I think it was I think it's normally $49, which is about 35 British pounds. So it's not too bad, I think. I think all professional traders, or that you consider professional traders, really need something. I never did up to recently because, you know, when you're relatively new, it's okay to log in a bunch of accounts, but then when you revenge trade and you blow them all, you got to kind of revisit them again. But you stop taking failures. Yeah, see, it's useful to have this information. Do I take many failures? Sometimes. They're certainly not my favourite type of a trade. Triple tests I like, and higher lows I think kind of work for me. Second entries I do like. Let's have a look. Size wise, I love this type of let's have a look. You know, the smaller, can't really see any now, this type of thing. I love these kind of smaller channels like this, and you wait for a break, 2 pushes up, a second entry, triple test, whatever, and then to the downside. That's the kind of, they're the ones I enjoy. Not too difficult to read, nothing too complicated. Second entry, that worked eventually. I wouldn't have taken anything there personally, but it did come down, at least attempt to break the lows, depending on how you look at it. But I like these kind of smaller channels. They work for me, I think. But yeah, I think it's good to look into your trades and find out. It's only going to give you positive information where you might be struggling a touch. And I think when you're a trader, you've always got to kind of look for ways to just... I don't think you can just turn up and switch the chart off and walk away for the rest of the day. Certainly not when you... well, I've been trading a little over 5 years. I consider myself kind of intermediate level. So I think as a trader, as a sensible trader, it's always good to keep an eye on what's going on, because you may miss something that may cause you the odd loss. And let's face it, I got 15 accounts on the go. A loss for me can be $3,000. So you take an extra 3 or 4 of those over a year that you may not necessarily need to. It all mounts up, doesn't it? Second entry, long or short, you're in the 90s, yeah. And 25 the fairly. See, you wouldn't have known that if it wasn't for that, would you? So channel break, new low. There's a possible higher low there. We're going to get a bounce here, maybe. Who knows? Yeah, I think you owe it to yourself, don't you, to look for ways to try and... You're right there. What is it? What is it? Oh, yeah, it's just my phone, that's all. Sorry. Yeah, I think you owe it to yourself, don't you, to, you know, just... I can't help but look at trading like a professional sportsman. You've constantly got to be on your game, haven't you? I mean, you've got people like Andy Murray and Federer and Djokovic, you know, 3 of the probably best tennis players that have ever lived, but they still pay for a coach. So if a coach was a better tennis player, why aren't they playing? So, you know, I think it's, you know, you look at psychology, especially in sports. Obviously, psychology is a massive part, but... you know, these guys are at the top of their game, but they still have coaches, you know, to improve on things. So what is going on now? Is this... Let me have a look. I did say that there is a possibility based on the daily that this thing could come down considerably more. So let's have a look. So there's the highs of the day, there's the lows of the day, and we've pulled back just short of that 50% line. You can see 1, 2, 3, and then we drop. So I mean, literally, we're just from that high there, we are literally a couple of points, fraction under a couple of points off that 50% level. Now that's a fair move. We went a bit sideways. Are we going to creep down? And then people had a go, but this is pulling back quite strong now. So I wouldn't be surprised at all. I mean, if you have a look at the daily, we could absolutely come down a shit ton more, really, couldn't we? Absolutely. I mean, this is congested here. Would you take a long here? If I was on this type of chart, I probably wouldn't because it's congested. But this looks like it's on its way down. So I wouldn't be surprised if areas like these get wiped out, whether it's today or whatever. But chop, 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 chop. But yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Where did price start to change? Here. Around this area here. That didn't work very well, did it? So where is this? Late November, early December, it started shopping. And that's where we talk about trades just got hard. Trading got hard. But if you look, all those previous months going back to April, nice and smooth, slowly up. It's weird, isn't it? But at the moment, chop, chop, chop. I think if we can break these lows, it may get a move up. But I don't know whether people are just holding on here because of all the stuff. Coach can see what you're doing. Absolutely. Sometimes it takes someone to sit back and watch you, and they can identify things that you obviously, you know, that you can't sometimes. But look at this. Now, why is it doing this? Who knows? I think the stuff with Iran and that is probably having some bearing on it. Do you really want to invest or get into it at the moment? It's, who knows? So a leg and a leg. Now, let me have a look at this. You could do that, and you could do something like that. Okay, that looks better to me. Yeah, much better. So it looks like we've had a break and a new high there. I think that's what I had initially. And then I possibly... So, yeah, this could be now moving down. It's certainly possible, isn't it? So... sellers, where are they? There's 2,000 contracts at 750. Now that sounds a lot of contracts just to put there. 750. There are buyers down here. Is this thing going to tumble? Again, it's hard to sell at the moment, really, isn't it? So yeah, so I don't know how to enter my accounts into TradeZeller. I think I've got to do it with a trade. So I kind of want to get a trade so I can get it going. I certainly don't want to rush one, but so leg and a leg. Let's see what happens. Now there could also be maybe that might be a bit premature. So let's just leave that for now. So 2 legs down. So I'd be looking for 2 or 3 attempts to continue on. Now, now this is just pure speculation. It's too early to do that, or certainly to trust in that. So Thomas Wade's got that as a larger trade. He does open up his trades quick. He's got it about there to there. Now, when we have 2 legs, I'm usually a little bit cautious. I like to see, we're supposed to really, from a Pat's point of view, have a 3rd touch to confirm the channel. I mean, you can connect two any points together and it works well, can't it? Now getting 3 touches after another, that tends to tell you maybe this is confirmed, but we've had 2 legs down and a break, so I would say this is a bit premature. Certainly to trust it, so I usually kill the colour. Just to see, so there's 2,000 contracts there. There's a fair chunk, that is. I can't see how someone would put 2,000 contracts like that there, unless it's to pull price up a bit. Okay, so I've fallen foul with those before. I don't know how many times I've seen price go up and have a quick drop, and I jump in short and think, yeah, we're coming down, and it does that. So I'm a lot calmer now in my decision making. Now, when you do nothing, the thing just drops like a stone, but I'd see him move up and a quick move down, and I'd jump in with a sell. I don't do that now. That was an impulsive issue I used to have. I'm quite calm. Now, it doesn't mean it can't come down, but what I'd like to see is some longs trapped. And that's where sometimes a lower high can come in. They are Thomas Wade. I consider a second entry shortly, mate. Yes, it'd be nice to trap along there to tick up and then to start to work down. I prefer it to come back a little further first and then push up. Second leg. If we can get another leg up here, then we may get another move down. We can get something like that. That would take us towards these lows. That's a fair move back. There's the break and there's the new high. So it does look like we're on the way to maybe clear some of this or certainly test the lows. We need a little pullback. I don't think there's any type of a channel there. There may be. It would probably look better on the second chart. It's a little bit straighter. So you've still got to be a little bit careful here. But I'd like to see a long and then it's a fail. It's a bit broader on this side, those two legs up. I'll see. So there's still a ton of contracts there. That's quite far away, but it may help pull it back. From Houston, it's been a while. Hope you're well. Heard you talking about journaling and having a coach. I've been downloading my trades to ChatGPT. Interesting. It's been a get. Has it really? So what do you ask ChatGPT when you do it? Now, I have had ChatGPT, but what I do use a lot of at the moment is Gemini. I use Gemini a lot. And do you know what? If I asked, let's give you an example here. So, why is Apex Trader funding taking a while to approve payouts? Payouts. Now, how the hell would it know about Apex Trader funding and payouts? So let's click search. It blew my mind yesterday. Okay, if you're waiting on a payout from Apex Trader Fund and you want a loan, as of February 2026, many traders are reporting that quick processing times, often touted in marketing, aren't always matching reality. The delay usually boils down to a few specific bottlenecks built into their system. Blah, 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 blah. Apex review takes normally 2 business days and review and an approval on after being requested. Funding transfer, once approved, it normally takes 3 to 4 business days to actually send your funds through plane, which from an international trader, or ACH straight to your bank. The first payout audit, blah, 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 blah. It's amazing. It's got so much information on this in literally 3 seconds. It blows my mind how it can get the information ins and outs of a random trading prop firm in the US or in the world, and the ins and outs of it blows my mind. So I'm glad you've said that. It helped with a lot of discipline because I know I have to report my trades. That's really interesting. Do you know what? If anything helps me in any way, I'm interested. Let me take a photo of that. I will say that I think AI is a whole different dimension, isn't it? It's quite hard to fathom sometimes how quick it can get all these little bits of information and how accurate it is. And I know it's accurate because I know how Apex works. But that's took about 3 seconds, and I got a massive speech. I know you can get it to give you a pep talk after you've taken a loss, and it'll give you it verbally. You can adjust the voice. You can make it more sympathetic. I think it can be a game changer for traders. So how do you approach it? Do you upload a photo and ask? How does it work? I'm interested to find out there, bud. So channel break, new high, bearish buy. It did work. Unfortunately, it wasn't a second entry short or higher low, so we got double deuced. There, but But yeah, these AI things are a game changer. I think they're going to take away so many jobs, aren't they? It's only a matter of time before all call centres are all automated, I think, isn't it? I mean, how quick can someone, a human being, get information that quick on a company? The ins and outs. Amazing. Tell it how you trade, tell it your rules, and then submit a screenshot every day. Interesting. I'm going to do that. I love all these new ideas. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Dub T23. Thanks for that, mate. I appreciate that. Absolutely. Just out of pure curiosity. I mean, if it helps, absolutely. But you could almost set yourself a trading coach or someone to give you a little bit of a pick-me-up. I used to listen to those trader, what are they called? Where they tell you how amazing you are and they blow your own trumpet for you. Trader affirmations. Used to help a bit, but you could personalize this to yourself, couldn't you? It is insane, isn't it? It is mind-blowing, really. I mean, I've asked it that question about Apex. Not only did it give me the answer, it gave me a bloody essay in detail. It is mad, isn't it? And I'll tell you something as well. Someone mentioned this the other day. Apparently, this has got a lot to do with AI. Okay, so I built a new computer just before Christmas, and you can see I've got 64 gig. I've got 232 gigabyte DDR5 600 hertz Vengeance. They're the RGB, and they cost me. I looked the other day. It was £242. Do you know what price they are today? £948. That's unbelievable. Apparently, that's because of AI. So it's gone up 400%. I bought 2 sticks of those. It's the same, 600 megahertz, DDR5. In fact, they don't look like the RGB. Mine are RGB. That may even stick a tiny touch more on top. But apparently, this is due to AI. That they've just gone up massively. There we are. That's exactly mine. DDR5, RGB. I think they're exact same. Mine are in white. That's over £1,000. That's what, over $1,400. That's incredible, isn't it? That's mind blowing. I mean, that could take some gamers out the market for a PC. If you spend £1,000, that's unbelievable. Tracks everything. It gives me honest feedback and practical, forces me to be professional. It's like having your own personal coach, isn't it? I really like the idea of that. I'm going to have a play around with that later. That's a really good idea. Now, do you use a free version or you pay for it? Because there are 2 packages. I use the free version of Gemini at the moment, but you know, I haven't really gone into detail too much, but I don't mind paying £20-30 a month if you get your own personal coach, which is literally what you would get. I really don't know how AI works. It just seems so futuristic that it can pick up so much information and so quickly. It's mind-blowing, isn't it? I'm quite looking forward to having a go at that later, mate. I'm glad you mentioned that. Good lad. Good on you. I only use a free version. There you go. So, brilliant. Excellent. Thanks for posting that, mate. Hopefully that might help some others as well. You can never have enough help in this business, even if it's the digital kind. So, what is going on here? Is this working down as a spot? Yeah, I'm looking forward to having a go at that. That'll be my evening set. I might sit back with a single malt and some barbecue crisps and have a flick around with that. Yeah, you can never have enough help in this business. It's surprising what there is out there. We still don't really... I mean, we've only scratched the surface, and we really have... I know you US guys have got the Amazon Alexas that are AI, I believe. We haven't at the moment. I think we're getting them this year. But half the time you ask Alexa a question and they haven't got a clue what you're talking about. So I know a lot of people are moaning about AI, saying, "Oh, you know, you don't know what's real anymore." Yeah, I suppose that's a lot of these photos and videos now. You can make anybody look like they're doing anything, but is that the danger? Anybody could do something illegal and say it was AI. It's starting to get to that stage, but I think I'm looking at it positive. I am. Whether it'll turn out that way in the future, who knows? But I like it, especially if it helps me. It can easily be accessed. Yeah, I suppose so. It's just the speed that it does it. I mean, it gave me all that information. Hey, Russell, how you doing, bud? It gave me all that information in about 3 seconds, in detail. That's what blew me mind. I mean, you can tell the information it had on the company to put all that together in depth in seconds. Not just to have it do the trading. Will it out-trade us? Well, the downside to human beings, if we have emotions, you know, electronic gadgets don't. I believe a lot of institutional traders, a lot of that's done with certain algorithms, isn't it? I believe. I don't quite know about the mechanics of it. So a channel there with the break, 2 pushes. Now, is this going to push down here? I think it may do. My only slight concern is, let me see if anybody else has got a channel like this. I like that type of setup, I do. Bar, it's an inside bar, that, which is a real shame. Yeah, is it an inside bar? It's just too risky, that is. Second chart, the bar's not great. It is a possible second entry short, but I'm just not sure about this at the moment. I've literally just put this channel here, so I'd like a little bit more confirmation. I can't see anybody else who's got it at the moment. Someone said out on a higher low. You can't really call that a higher low. We got a channel with a break. I still think there's a good chance this is going to come down and test these lows personally. You've just got to get a solid enough entry so you're not taken out. I always like to have a strong bar like that as a higher low, and it's not. It just pushes up moves. I like a bar like that. If that was a really strong higher low and it ticked above and came down, that's a different story. I will say it's nice and broad, that, so I don't think you can confuse it. as a channel. It doesn't work. So the only problem is there are 152 contracts to buy at just below 52.5, which is there. There are buyers here. So going short into buyers would be risky. Now, oddly enough, there may be a possible attempt at pushing up here. So there's 157 contracts to buy there. So if this comes bearish, I will leave that, even though it's a second entry short. If that finishes bearish, I'll leave it. Not only that, if it does, it'll be congested. Now, is it going to work off here? It may do. I don't think it's a great setup. There's 200 contracts there now. I really wouldn't want to short right into buyers because it could trigger you and push up. And this channel up here on the left, chart on the left, is looking like it may be starting to push up. So I'd avoid a short. There. The bar's naff anyway, so it's not great. Hopefully it won't trigger, and that way. It's the kind of two legs up though that are interested to trade, but I wouldn't take it. See if it triggers. I wouldn't take it anyway. As I say, there's 150 contracts there to buy. I wouldn't want to short into buyers. Not that it won't necessarily work, but that makes the job a lot harder. Failures, the way Mac teaching them, are poison. Yeah. See, if we're in a downtrend and we get we got a trade the other day, we had a break of it and 2 pushes up. So it would played out. Then we had a second entry long. Now, you could have drawn this like this, and there was a lot of people stuck into it because the thing absolutely launched down. I got it somewhere. I think I took it. Oh, did I miss it? I think I missed it because it moved that quick. Where is it? Is that it there? No, that's not it. New folder. That's the thing. Where was it? Let me have a look here. There was a failure there. It's not the most obvious ones, but you got a second. Well, yeah, it's a second entry long, which triggers and traps, but that wasn't the one I had in mind. That wasn't it either. Now, what I like about that is we've got a push up, a really strong higher low, and immediately it pushed up triggers and came down. So for me, that's coming all day long, but that wasn't the one I had in mind. Not that one. Same again, there was a failure there. Second entry long triggered. So certain types of them, I don't mind. That wasn't terrible. Same again there. Second entry long failure. That bar, it was a bit disappointing, but I like that bar never dropped below it because it would be engulfing there. But second entry long, and it did work. So some I like, some I'm a bit unsure about. But yeah, if you'd have taken that trade, I'd have bet money that was going to stop you out. So this is quite new anyway. So It's absolutely terrible with the hindsight markup. Yeah, I agree. Skips losers. Yeah. It does. He's a lovely bloke. He's a lovely guy, but he does miss some real crucial things that would help traders massively. You need to discuss more than anything why trades didn't work, not what was there or what you may have taken. You've got to break these things down and explain to people, especially people who are paying you money. All right, granted, it's not a lot. But, you know, as someone like Mac, he's got the skill to go, okay, some of you may have taken that. That's the reason I wouldn't, blah, blah, blah. Explain things in black and white. This is a relatively new channel. There's no guarantees. It's right. Just stuff like that. Break down possible entries where inexperienced traders may have got in. Because when you're learning from someone, you really want to kind of get into their mind, and I don't want him just pointing things out to me. I want him to explain why something may, you know, when you're teaching a child not to do something, you don't just shout them and tell them not to do it. You got to tell them why. Otherwise, they're never really going to learn. So, and I suppose newer traders are like children in a sense. They don't know how trading works, and they need it explaining to them in black and white, which is frustrating because he's obviously got the skills to do it. He just, I don't know, maybe he's that set in his ways. He thinks everyone kind of sees the things the way he does. Put yourself out as a teacher. You need to take accountability. Absolutely. Maybe he just doesn't know. He doesn't strike me as a nasty or a vindictive type of guy. He doesn't, you know, he clearly puts a ton of hours into, you know, the videos day after day. He's been doing it for 14 years. So, but I don't know. I'd feel cheeky explaining it to him. I mean, I'm not with him at the moment. I've done 2 years with Mac. Split over a few year period, but it's a shame, isn't it? Because that, you know, he's got so much more to give. So I'm not sure what's going on here. Yeah. I think we could become better traders a lot quicker if we're showing the right way. And you know, there's two things you need to address: why trades don't work, and losses is a big one as well, because it's one of the things that mentally cripples traders more than anything is losses. And we talked about this, touched on it yesterday, didn't we? It's kind of taboo, really, in the Pat's business, isn't it? And you can tell that by looking at the Facebook group, because no one post losses. Very few people post losses, because without posting losses, you know, I think for the first 2 years, I put my chart in every day, winners and losses, because if I lost a trade, I wanted to know why. There's no point seeing a loss and not really understanding why it happened, and that's where you need guidance. Have we got a break already and a push down? It's just the way it is, isn't it? It's the way the world works. Unfortunately, nothing's perfect in life, is it? So that strikes me as 2 legs up, and I quite likely expect it to work back down, but that's not what I expected. I thought once it got up there, maybe it was going to push high, but then chop, 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 bit of weirdness, and then drop. At one point, he did have a few people sending video trades in, and he explained it, and I thought that was a good thing. I think he should do a lot more of that. In fact, I think he should spend most of his time doing that, breaking stuff down, you know, why things don't work, what was wrong with a certain trade. So I think posting videos or sending, he should do 4 or 5 videos a night You get a lot more value. Like I say, sorry, you teach a child something, you can't just say don't do it. You've got to explain to them why. There's consequences to everything we do, but you need to understand them. How long are we going for? 2:45. I might break now and go and have a bit of dinner and pop back for an hour later. It's not been an easy day. It's been quite choppy in parts. That one I left. Where was it? That one there. So this was the channel in the end, and we had a break and a new high. So under those circumstances, would I have taken that without seeing where? I mean, if I had that now, would I have taken that based on there? Probably not. Having said that, it is holding nice on that AMA, but that does seem like it was the channel before we reverse. I don't know. It wasn't. It wasn't what I would consider a great trade, super clear. There was a little bit. My worry is we have a second leg down, but then he marks something stupid like I know. It does make you wonder, really. It does seem a bit half-hearted sometimes. I've looked at that before. He's marked a trade and I realise it only went 3 ticks, or he's marked a trade that didn't trigger. And stuff like that. I don't think he does it on purpose. It's just, I think he's just setting his weight. He's certainly a good-hearted guy. There's no argument there, but anyway. Okay, folks, sorry if I've talked a bit too much today. I do have days where I tend to ramble on. But I'm that type of person. If I think it, I talk it. And sometimes I just don't shut up. So actually, that looks much better. It actually does, doesn't it? Why didn't I do that earlier? Mind you, I still don't think I'd have taken that trade there. It's still a bit choppy, isn't it? But it fits at the bottom all right. So there's a new guy called Ace of Trades. There seems to be understanding price action. He's a scalper. Seems to be. Let me take a photo of that. Whenever I take these photos, I always look into them. That works. Does that work? Yeah. Good. Happy days. Okay. I'm going to leave you folks to it. So I appreciate your company. We've had some nice chats today. I think I've learned some stuff, and I've certainly got some stuff to go away with. I'll look at that video for sure, that guy. And I can't wait to get ChatGPT. My only concern is it says you're a crap trader, give up. Hopefully it won't, but I'm looking forward to that. Anything that can help, as far as I'm concerned, is worth looking into. And my understanding so far, in the limited knowledge I've got of AI, is it's mind-blowing. So there you go. So I appreciate all your comments. I'll be back again tomorrow. Another week gone already. As I mentioned before, you guys can message me anytime you like on Facebook Messenger if you want to chat about stuff, or I'm happy to talk trading. So there you go. I'll leave you guys there. Best of luck. I hope you get us set up. And failing that, have a great evening. Stay safe. And I'll catch up again tomorrow. Bye for now.